Welcome to Energize and Revitalize with Dr. Amy. I'm Dr. Amy Cooper-Smith, a doctorate-prepared nurse practitioner, and this show is about empowering you to live a radiant, healthy, and balanced life. I'm very excited to introduce today's guest, Pamela Hull. Pam has trained in martial arts since 2012 and has earned a black belt in mixed martial arts. She is the owner of Southwest Self-Defense. She is also a Rocksteady boxing coach. Rocksteady is an organization with a mission to improve quality of life for individuals with Parkinson's disease. Pam is also a personal trainer and much more, which we will talk about. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
So you wear a lot of hats. How did you come to serve in these roles?
I had a desire to learn martial arts. When I started training, it was something that immediately I loved and enjoyed. My favorite part of the martial arts aspect was, in fact, the self-defense. I will share that in my past, back in the 80s, I did have an event that happened, and thank goodness it ended well. But for anyone to think that they cannot be a victim of crime, it was kind of a mission of mine once I received my black belt and went on to train in Krav Maga, which is an Israeli form of street defense. It was a mission of mine to share that knowledge with as many people as I could.
So you had a trauma, and that inspired you to make sure that you were never in that situation again.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then to share that with other people.
Yes. It's something that everyone should know. Everyone should know some form of self-defense.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the most important principles that you teach? Do you teach mostly women self-defense or both?
Mostly. I also have a lot of teenagers. I have a lot of young kids that come in. And the main component of learning to defend, it's different than learning to fight. Mm-hmm. I want them to recognize where the threat may be. The main part of that is to avoid it at all costs if you can. The first and foremost and easiest part of self-defense is using your voice so everyone sees that there is something occurring. And as well, it is a litigious state of our society that we live in, is to know that you are seen as the victim and not as the abuser, if that is the case, or the bad guy. Mm-hmm. So there are many components to learning to defend. And of course, at all costs, try to avoid and get away, and then having the tools to defend physically should you need to.
So you mentioned avoiding the situation. How
Yes.
can a person do that? What should we be looking for?
Awareness of where you are, always. Head on a swivel. Our phones, unfortunately, and our young people especially, we have our phones in our hands. Mm-hmm. Our phones are up in our ears. They will create a bad situation. The bad guys that are out there are looking for the quick, easy victim. And if we are not paying attention at all costs, that will only make it easier for them. Mm-hmm. So know where you're going. Let somebody know where you are going. Be aware of your surroundings. Before you leave your car, look around. Before you park, see where you're parked. If you are going from point A to point B, and there's anything at all that gives you those little spider senses, then don't go. There's no honor in not making it home that day, and to not be embarrassed to use your voice, to make a phone call, to say to someone, let's just not go there just yet. Mm-hmm. Be brave in all of these circumstances. Do not be embarrassed to use your voice, and just always be aware.
Yeah, as I was kind of preparing to talk with you, I was remembering being younger and maybe not quite as smart as I am today in situations that I got myself into that were just dumb, and thankfully nothing happened, but I remember giving a man a ride home and going into his place, and this other man was there, and the hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and I went, oh, I need to go. And
yes.
Yes.
But intuitively you had that feeling. Yes. And the part that I like to teach is the part that happened before that. And this is not, shaming anyone. If you don't have that little bit of awareness, and the training actually does that. Yeah. It boosts your self-confidence. It boosts your awareness. And hopefully you may never have to use it. But before going into a door, you might not. Before getting into a car, you might not. You'll give it a second thought. Right. For those that are dating, if you have that feeling, just don't go. Right. If you are on a street and someone stops to talk to you or is walking alongside of you, and you don't want to hurt someone's feelings because, well, maybe they're okay, right, but perhaps they're not. So it's okay to say, excuse me, and if you've passed restaurants or doors along the way, just say, excuse me, I'm where I need to be, and walk in that door. Mm-hmm. Walk in that door. You just never know. We can't take that chance.
Yeah. I think that's a big one. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. We don't want to judge anybody. But you're right. You can't put your own personal safety at risk to avoid sparing someone's feelings.
No. Yeah. We are, especially with you are into fitness and health and wellness. And, how many people run at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., how many individuals have not told someone when they're leaving where they're going? How many individuals wear earbuds, right? And they cannot hear people coming. These are things that, yes, should we be free to do? We should. However, are we putting ourselves at risk?
Right. And I think for any runners out there, there are a lot of other people in the community who like to run, and they'll get together in groups.
Yes.
And there's so much more safety in that, especially if you're going to run during those hours where it's still dark.
Exactly.
And people look out for each other.
Yes, and that's how it should be.
Yeah.
And, there's that old expression, if you see something, say something. Please, I ask you to do that. Don't put yourself in harm's way. But if you see something happening, call 911. And perhaps, distance yourself from that situation, but notice what someone was wearing. Notice the look on someone's face. When you are aware, you'll see these things that perhaps you wouldn't have seen before you had some training, and say something. Definitely say something. Mm-hmm.
So you do training with individuals.
Yes.
But you also do corporate trainings.
I do.
So what's that about?
It is something, just a few examples. I do the Florida Association of Podiatry, and it is something that the doctors will do for their staff.
Yes.
As you have your office. I do the Well-Armed Women of America. I do the Florida conferences for them. I do what they call non-lethal training because all of these individuals carry.
Okay.
And individuals that do carry, of course, they will say, I don't need training. I've got the best defense ever. But there are situations that you may not be able to pull your weapon. So what I do is I work closely with a group of women, and they learn non-lethal defense, strikes, and what have you, and awareness. And then I ask them to put what we call like a plastic cert gun where they may carry their regular weapon.
Yeah. And
I will pop them down to the ground where they will learn to perhaps land, roll, and then fire their weapons, because that is not 100%.
And someone could take your weapon.
Someone could take your weapon. So we do weapon defense with a gun, with a knife. Again, this is not foolproof. Right. It is not 100%. But we know that if we do nothing from a defense perspective, that the outcome, of course, most likely will be much worse than defending in some way.
So you mentioned the litigious society that we live in. Is that particularly challenging for people who are armed, in your experience?
It's very interesting because I go to some of the meetings for some of the individuals that have their clubs and they're armed, and the USCCA, the United States Concealed Carry Association. And I have learned a lot from them. And one thing is, if you are in a defense situation and you have pulled your weapon and someone is no longer with us, right. Or you have defended personally with non-lethal, when you make that call to 911, it is recommended that you do not use the verbiage, I have just, God forbid, I have just killed someone, I have just shot someone. You make that phone call and you say there has been an event, there's been a self-defense event, or whatever verbiage comes to you, because you are in shock. Right. There is that, that fright or flight mechanism that comes into play when a police officer does come to you to respond to that situation. If you do have a weapon, just put that weapon down, step back away from it, because the police officer needs to know who is the victim, if it is not obvious, and who was the one that defended themselves. You will have to go down to, the station. They will do their due diligence. One thing that I found that was interesting is at that moment, you do not necessarily have to make a statement. You've got like a 24-hour period that you can. They will question you. But how do we answer those questions when something very tragic has just happened? Right. So it is something to research. This is part of when I do my seminars. I like to sit with my individuals and know whose situation is what, who does carry, who does not. I do not cite like everything that I say is correct, but I will say there are questions to ask. If it is a situation where it is domestic, I learned quite a bit by, if you come and you train with me and you tell me that there is a situation, I will follow you personally. When I say follow you, I don't mean literally, right. But I want to know how you're doing. Tell me how things are going. Is it time to make a police report? And those reports, if you're looking for a restraining order, do not just happen the moment you go in to the police department. They want to know, are they texting you? Are you responding? The fact that you're responding means that, you're still having communication, even though you're trying to deflect. There is a rule that no more response. They will ask you these questions. So there's still so much to learn to keep yourself safe under all these circumstances.
There's so much involved socially on your behalf of being an advocate for people.
Yes.
So much you have to learn. So just to summarize, in self-defense,
yes.
We avoid the situation if we can.
Correct.
If we find ourselves in a situation, we learn how to defend.
Correct.
And then get away as soon as we can.
We use our voices always.
Yes.
Yes. Keep your distance.
Yes. And then if something does happen that ends, with having to file a police report, we kind of take our time and understand that we do have time to respond.
Yes, absolutely. It's all about you and feeling safe and knowing that others are there for you. But, the statements that we may make, and of course they are telling people exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. But again, we are so litigious in this society that you also want to protect yourselves.
Yep, always. I'm going to have you hold that thought.
Okay.
We're going to pause for a break from our sponsor. You're listening to Energize and Revitalize with Dr. Amy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Looking for expert care that helps you feel your best? Meet Shauna, lead practitioner at Amethyst Wellness. With a personalized approach to bioidentical hormones, weight loss, and aesthetic services, Shauna and the rest of the Amethyst Wellness team help you restore balance, boost energy, and feel confident inside and out.
At Amethyst Wellness, we take time to understand your goals. It's not one size fits all. It's a plan designed just for you.
Schedule your consultation today at Amethyst Wellness in Palm Coast. Your journey to total wellness starts here.
Welcome back to Energize and Revitalize with Dr. Amy. I'm Dr. Amy Cooper-Smith, and my guest today is Pam Hull, a certified personal trainer and self-defense expert. Before the break, we were talking about various aspects of self-defense. Now, you are also a boxing coach for Rocksteady.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
I can, with pleasure. Rocksteady is a program that was developed for individuals with Parkinson's. Mm-hmm. And it is a proven fact that those individuals, they need to keep their bodies moving. They need to keep everything as loose as they possibly can. Boxing is a great component because not only does it exercise them physically, but it's a cognitive exercise for them as well. It is it's a fun thing. And we meet them where they are. There are individuals that can box and do combinations, your jab, cross, your hooks, and your uppercuts. Mm-hmm. And then part of that is we may count from 1 to 10. We may count down from 10 to 1 while doing jab crosses. Individuals that perhaps are having balance issues can box sitting. So we can do boxing anywhere, in any way, to accommodate the individuals that have been diagnosed with Parkinson's, along with the other exercises that we introduce.
Yeah, I think the world knows a little more about Parkinson's these days because of celebrities like Michael J. Fox.
Yes.
Increasing awareness.
Yes.
So it's not so foreign to your average listener.
Yes, it is. In our area, we have monthly meetings for the individuals with Parkinson's. They come to Lions Pride Boxing and MMA in Bunnell, and we see them 3 days a week. And they do an hour of a workout that you and I would want to do. Yeah. We may have to, kind of keep tabs on them a little bit more. These individuals work so hard to just put one foot in front of the other. Mm-hmm. There are various stages. And again, we meet them where they are in their stage of Parkinson's. And then we always box with them. But it's also a sense of community for them. They come in and they are not alone. We have an individual who has been with us, I'm going to say a few months, and she hadn't done any type of exercise, and she has not shared it with a lot of her friends. Yeah. Because when you receive that diagnosis, it's a real kind of a gut punch, because it is a disease that there is no cure for yet, but they're coming leaps and bounds with medication, with a DBS surgery, which, we can talk about along the way if you'd like. But since she started Rocksteady, she has dropped 16 pounds. Nice. Her state of her relationship with her husband has improved leaps and bounds because she is a happier individual, and now she is in a group of others that are sharing the same diagnosis. So it is just a joy and my pleasure to be a part of them. It's an honor to be a part of them.
How did you get involved with a group that serves Parkinson's clients?
This started with me a few years back. I had an individual that was recommended to me through a friend. We trained Spartan races, and this individual came to my friend and shared his malady, if you will. He was 40 years old when he was diagnosed, and in his mind, he said, I can do this on my own. I can make this better. I can become more physically able. And God love him, he walked into my studio, and he looked like one of those little air people that they have in front of new businesses where his arms and legs are going. And I said, okay, I'm up to the challenge if you are. And probably within 3 months, he was more stable on his feet. His speech was better. His tremors had alleviated. Part of Parkinson's is what's called dyskinesia, and that is the movement of your feet and legs and hands. And all of those things just really became much more calm. And then within 6 months, his medication had decreased to half. And I was hooked. I'm liking this. And even while he was in my studio and we were boxing, I even said, do you want to do a little self-defense? Do you want to do a little Krav Maga? And he's like, yeah. He was kickboxing. It didn't look, professional, but it was amazing. And from that point on, I knew that had to be a part of what I do and giving back.
Is there something in particular about boxing as opposed to a different type of activity that really helps people with Parkinson's?
Absolutely. It is just a boxing stance is more secure. For an example, left foot forward, right foot back, having those knees bent just a little bit. It's like defying the law of gravity, right? Okay. Your hands come up, knowing to place your body in a certain way to where if you feel like you're falling forward, that lead leg is going to support you, and vice versa. Cognitively, you are thinking about placing your hands, whether it's on the heavy bag or on a focus mitt. If you have a specific combination to do, you've got to think about it. You're hearing it, and you're placing your hands where it goes, and you're getting a full body workout, especially the individuals with Parkinson's. It's great cardio. We all need cardio for everything that we do. If God forbid we have a defense situation, you've got to be able to hang in there. Right. For Parkinson's, so many of the individuals perhaps are spending more time sitting because they can't just get out there and walk 2 miles. So under a controlled environment, we can get them standing by the heavy bag, get their heart rates up a little bit. And even if they're sitting, they're punching that bag and they're having fun.
That's so important. So you mentioned the fun aspect of it. And
yes.
I think any disease state or situation, if we are mentally happier, in a better place, I think that gives us what we need inside to kind of deal with that situation.
Absolutely. It's all about, we know our cortisols, we know our serotonins, we know our body's chemistries. The individuals that are diagnosed with Parkinson's, it's a decrease in dopamine. And, we know that is also a chemical that we need to bring us to a better state of mind as well. So moving those things, if we can generate along with their medications, and just being in a group of peers and the camaraderie, and they can share, not to mention what we might do as coaches. We play crazy music, like they want to hear great music with great beats. The whole thing, it's amazing for all of us. It's amazing for the individuals that are going through the program. It makes them happy. They love being with their friends, and it brings the coaches joy as well.
Do you think people are less self-conscious when they're among other people who understand?
Without a doubt. Yeah. Without a doubt. And there are various stages of their symptoms with each individual. And they look out for one another, who might be doing sit-ups on the bench and maybe struggling a little bit to come off the bench. And you will always see somebody, if one of us is not there to help them immediately, sometimes we'll even stand back because it's great to see an individual, someone of their peers help them because they feel comfortable. They're in, everyone knows what everyone is feeling and going through.
Right. That's really amazing.
It's great.
So physically, the stance of boxing is going to help with stability and prevent falls.
Correct.
Which is really important.
Yes.
And then cognitively, we have to memorize certain drills and so forth. So it helps in that aspect as well.
Yes.
And then socially, it's amazing.
It's amazing. It's every part of it. We're there doing something specific and something very important, and it is it's a serious subject, but it's so important to have fun through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not having fun, they're not going to want to come back.
Right.
So we love making it as pleasant as we possibly can for them.
Wonderful. So you're also very passionate about healthy aging and remaining active.
Yes, very much so.
Oh. How old were you when you became a black belt?
I was 60. I was 60 years old when I earned my black belt.
Did you ever think that that was too old to start something like that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I am a big proponent of, if you have a thought or a dream or you think you would like to try something, go for it.
Yes.
Go for it. I mean, I am now 68. I am still teaching. I am still training. I am still thrown around occasionally like a rag doll. And I tell everyone, for any sport that they might want to try or to learn, we've all started somewhere.
Yes.
And go easy, go slow. If you have a disability, that's okay. We can avoid it. We can work around it. But there are no excuses.
Yes, and I think that's an important point. I hear that a lot of, I can't do this exercise because, we, unfortunately, as we're around for a little while, we get injuries along the way.
Yes.
So you're absolutely right about working around that and continuing to move because it's so important to stay healthy as we get older.
Without a doubt. Our bodies are machines. It's like anything. If you have a car that sat in the garage for 10 years, chances are it's not going to start. So our bodies are the same. I am so grateful. Also, not even from strength. Yes, we want to be strong, but from a cardio perspective, I'll circle back to the self-defense aspect of it. If we have not practiced some sort of self-defense, or cardio, it would be very hard to defend. If we haven't, our individuals with Parkinson's, they do cardio because we want them to have that little bit of, oomph to continue their boxing. It's with all of us. Keep our hearts healthy, keep our lungs healthy. And it shouldn't matter how old we are. Keep going.
Keep going. Well, I really want to thank you for joining me today. How can our listeners learn more about you and get in touch with you?
You can Google Southwest Self-Defense. We are in the process of doing a whole new website. Rocksteady. You can find us at Lions Pride MMA and Boxing here in Bunnell. I am happy to do whatever anyone would like to do. If you would like to do individual training, self-defense, boxing, Parkinson's. I also kind of have a little ancillary business where I do come to your home for the individuals that cannot find their way to the gym because perhaps their symptoms have become a little more advanced. Yeah. I am happy to come to your home and give you that workout, and I bring my boxing gloves and my mitts, so we do a little bit of that as well. But Lions Pride, MMA, and boxing is where our Rocksteady program is. For me, you can Google Southwest Self-Defense, and I will answer specifically. And I'm happy to do whatever anyone is anxious to do, but please think about both of these programs because they're so important.
They sound amazing. Great. Well, thank you again.
Thank you again. It was a pleasure.
And thanks to our listeners for tuning in to Energize and Revitalize with Dr. Amy. If there are topics you would like to hear about, please send an email to radiantpodcast2025@gmail.com. Check out past episodes on Amethyst Wellness YouTube, and please like and subscribe. I'll be back next Saturday morning at 7:30 with more expert insights and practical strategies to help you live your healthiest, most energized life. Until then, stay healthy, and here's to your best life.